What's going on, guys? So today's video is going to be hopefully a short and easy tutorial on how to do a valve cover gasket change on a 2004 Honda Civic EX, and I believe this is the same for a 2000 through a 05 or an 06. So getting started, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen these two bolts right here and take off this cover. I've already loosened mine, and then once this cover is removed, I'm going to start by taking off each of my spark plug caps. Now with each of these 4 bolts removed, this bolt right here comes next, as well as one that I believe is supposed to be right here, but I'm actually missing. All of these are going to be 10 mil, as well as these. The next bolt that needs to be removed is this little guy right here, which for some reason they switched it up and went with an 11. And then this one right here, we might as well go ahead and remove because it's going to be in the way of the removal of the actual cover here in just a second. And these 2 bolts back here, but we're going to save those for last because those are the 4 actual bolts for the valve cover itself. Now with all 4 of your distributor caps removed, right here where we removed that screw a minute ago, there's going to be a little clip on the back side right there. If you press on that clip and pull up on this mount, it'll pop loose just like that, freeing up enough space for us to be able to move this back so that we can get the valve cover off around it. The next step is going to be to take this bolt right here off, and then we can start removing each of these other valve cover bolts that actually holds the cover on. Now I went ahead and removed all 5 of our valve cover screws, or our bolts more or less. These 2 right here seem to be coming up a lot higher. This one and the other 2 underneath of this bracket, you see them right here, these are all 3 a little bit lower, but I do believe it's disconnected enough now for us to be able to lift it. In my situation, I did not have to remove this clip because it was already unbolted and never got put back on. But in most cases, what you're going to want to do is disconnect this clip for your AC line, remove this, I think this is a power steering line, remove your power steering line, your AC line out of the way so that you can lift the cover past that point because this line is in the way. And what you also might want to do is take out the bolt that slides into the side of this AC line right here, holding it down so that you can wiggle this around enough to be able to get the valve cover out from under it, as well as actually take this harness, get it on the other side of this line so that you can take your whole wire harness and move it off to the side. Now the entire thing should be disconnected enough for us to be able to pop it off. You can see it's already moving. Alright, so I got the valve cover gasket off. I'm going to go ahead and lay this thing down on the ground upside down so I can see what I'm working with here. If I'm not mistaken, all 4 of these coal pack covers, I've called these things the wrong name like 2 or 3 times this video, and I'm going to leave it in there just because it's funny. The coil packs, I've called them spark plug covers, distributors, basically everything that they're not. The coil pack cover, like seal right here, all 4 of these seem to be in pretty rough shape, and you can see my gasket kind of just fell right off. I have not even touched this. This was already hanging off when I went to pull the cover off. You can see that's what the inside of it looks like. I had a bunch of leakage. All of that was already there. This is where it's been primarily leaking, and you can see all of this residual burnt up oil and stuff just everywhere. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this gasket off. If yours is stuck on here, sometimes they will get burnt. It can be a little tricky getting it out of there, but once you get it started, it's pretty easy. You can just pull it. Basically just get like a small flathead screwdriver or a pick or something along those lines and just get like one of these corners up somewhere and then start pulling it off from there. Alright, so this is the new valve cover gasket right here. You can see this is from Felpro. It's a full kit for the Honda 1.7 liter. It comes with the bolt washers as well. These basically just go right on the back side of these bolts right here. That's what holds the bolt in, keeps it sealed. Here's our coil pack gaskets and our new valve cover gasket. And I always like to take the old one, lay it out, and just kind of match it up, make sure it fits. Everything looks basically the exact same, just a lot newer. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of solvent, put on a clean shop towel, and just go around both edges of the engine mount and the valve cover mount, clean everything up before we put the new gasket in. You can see here I've already installed our new gasket. Basically just all you want to do is start with a corner, something along like right here, right here. Make sure that everything is obviously facing the right direction, and then start popping it in all the way around. Just make sure that by the end of it, every little bit of this groove is pushed down into where it needs to be. It's all level. That's pretty much all there is to it. The next step is to start removing these gaskets right here. It's pretty self-explanatory, same thing. Just take a screwdriver, get it right down inside of one of these grooves so you can push that gasket out and then pull it, and we'll start putting the new ones in. Alright, so unfortunately my camera died, so I didn't get to actually record me replacing these gaskets right here, but it's pretty straightforward. You just kind of cram a screwdriver or something in between of these little crevices and pop them out, and they're pretty easy to get out of there. You can see here's all 4 of the old ones right here. They were pretty torn up, and then you literally just take the new ones and just push them right back in. Now as for the bolts, I went ahead and replaced all of the gaskets on these 4 right here. I still have one long one to do. I'm going to show you now how to get that done, but you basically just want to take a screwdriver. You're going to see this metal cap right here. You're going to pull the bolt up a little bit, take your screwdriver and just get it right down in there where that metal cap is. You should be able to twist it enough to pop the metal cap off. Once that cap's been removed, you'll see that little black washer right there. You're gonna do the same thing. Just get a screwdriver underneath of it. Just pry it enough to where that it comes out. Just like that. And that'll remove the actual bolt itself. And then once you get to this point, lay the bolt down. You're gonna grab a set of side cutters or a razor blade, pair of pliers, whatever you got handy. You're just gonna grab it right about there and just cut it down the side like that. I'm actually gonna have to make another cut because I only cut the big piece, but you're gonna want to cut this entire piece and just pop it right off. And now with that removed, we can reach in our bag here, grab ourselves a new washer, and then we're going to take the bolt. Make sure you're putting it on the right way. This actually isn't the same type of washer as the one that I initially had on. The original one pops into the cover itself and holds itself in, so you can't remove the bolt. This one just pops onto the bolt and then does not, it just seals the bolt together so that you don't have to worry about it. But you're just going to take this, slide it over top of it, and then what I like to do is, you can see it's already almost going on there, but you're basically just going to wrap one end in a rag so that it's not as tight. Just give it a nice push, just like that. Basically all you're doing is just trying to push this little rivet right here through that hole, and then once that's done, we should be in the clear to go ahead and install this. Now, as I said before we install this, we're going to grab a moderately clean shop towel, get a little bit of solvent, and just kind of wipe along the edge right here all the way around where the gasket is going to sit, so we can ensure we get a nice clean seal. You can see where mine was leaking before. It would not have probably ended up staying tight had I have put the gasket on there without wiping this off. Most of that right there is actually dirt mixed in with some burnt oil and fluids, so just make sure you give it a good wipe before you get to put it back on there. And for the most part, the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to be following along with the tutorial backwards. Basically just slap it in there and then put everything back together the way it was. As for the spark plugs, I'm actually going to be putting a new set in. I went and picked up a set of these Autolite Iridium XPs. Earlier they were about $6 a piece at AutoZone or Advance, I don't remember which one. I actually got a really good deal because one, I got some extra points added to my account due to it, and if you don't know, I did get those from Advance. Anytime you pay for anything online at Advance, you essentially have a guaranteed 20% off. So I highly recommend, if you are going to be doing this, you might as well just go ahead and swap the spark plugs out. I mean, depending on how long it's been since you've done it, most spark plugs will last around 30,000, 40,000 miles. In this instance, I have never changed mine, so I have a good feeling they probably need to be changed. However, I will not be showing any of that in the tutorial because I actually already have a spark plug and tune-up tutorial up on the channel, so if you want to check that out, head over to the Jeep playlist. It's essentially the exact same thing. However, on this it'll actually be a little bit easier, and watching the Jeep tune-up video, you may or may not end up learning a little something new that you didn't know due to the way that the spark plugs are installed, due to the side and the coil pack rail and all that good stuff. So let me go ahead and show you guys what this looks like when it is finished. And there she is. So that is essentially from beginning to end how to replace all of the gaskets involved with the valve cover. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe with notification bell turned on to stay up to date with all future updates, and I appreciate it.